Andrew Johnson, the 17th President of the United States, was born on December 29, 1808, in Raleigh, North Carolina. He came into the world under very modest circumstances. His parents, Jacob and Mary Polly Johnson, were poor, and life was difficult from the very beginning. His father, who worked as a porter and sexton, died when Andrew was only 3 years old, leaving his family in deep poverty. His mother struggled to provide for Andrew and his brother, often working as a washerwoman and seamstress to make ends meet. Unlike many future American leaders, Johnson never had the privilege of formal education. As a boy, he was apprenticed to a tailor at the age of 10. While learning the trade, he also developed a spirit of independence and ambition. Although he had very little formal schooling, Johnson taught himself to read, and later, with the encouragement of his wife, Eliza McCardle, he learned to write more proficiently and to expand his knowledge. Eliza was instrumental in his intellectual growth, reading books to him and guiding his studies, which helped Johnson sharpen his debating and political skills. Johnson eventually opened his own tailoring business in Greenville, Tennessee. His shop became a meeting place where he conversed with townspeople about politics, local issues, and the future of the country. Through these discussions, he gained popularity and soon entered public service. His political career advanced steadily. He became mayor of Greenville, served in the Tennessee legislature, and later represented Tennessee in both the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate. Johnson's rise from poverty to national politics made him a symbol of the self-made man, admired by many working-class Americans. During the Civil War, Johnson was a Southern Democrat who remained loyal to the Union, even though Tennessee, his home state, had seceded. His loyalty to the Union impressed President Abraham Lincoln, who selected Johnson, a Democrat, as his running mate in 1864. The idea was to present a national Union ticket that would appeal to both Northern Republicans and Southern Unionists. Johnson became vice president in March 1865, but only weeks later, tragedy struck. President Lincoln was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth in April 1865, and Johnson was suddenly thrust into the presidency at a critical moment in American history. As president, Johnson faced the enormous challenge of leading the nation through Reconstruction after the Civil War. He favored a lenient approach toward the defeated Southern states, quickly granting pardons to former Confederates and allowing them to re-establish state governments. Johnson believed this would help heal the nation quickly, but his policies angered radical Republicans in Congress, who wanted stronger protections and rights for freed African Americans. Johnson frequently clashed with Congress, vetoing key Reconstruction bills such as the Civil Rights Act of 1866 and measures to strengthen the Freedmen's Bureau. However, Congress overrode his vetoes, marking the first time in American history that major laws were passed over a president's repeated objections. His stubborn opposition to granting civil and political rights to freed slaves made him highly unpopular with Congress and with many Northerners. In 1868, Johnson faced the most serious crisis of his political life when the House of Representatives impeached him, primarily over his violation of the Tenure of Office Act, which restricted the president's ability to remove certain officials without Senate approval. The Senate trial that followed was dramatic, and Johnson narrowly avoided removal from office by just one vote. This made him the first U.S. president ever to be impeached, though he was not convicted. After leaving the presidency in 1869, Johnson returned home to Tennessee, but he remained active in politics. Remarkably, in 1875, he was elected once again to the U.S. Senate, becoming the only former president to serve in the Senate after leaving the White House. His return to national politics, however, was short-lived. On July 31, 1875, while visiting his daughter in Carter County, Tennessee, Johnson suffered a stroke and passed away at the age of 66. Andrew Johnson's legacy remains one of the most controversial in American history. On one hand, he embodied the spirit of resilience and determination, rising from extreme poverty with almost no formal education to become President of the United States. On the other hand, his presidency is widely criticized for his weak leadership during Reconstruction and his opposition to expanding civil rights for African Americans. Many historians place him among the least effective presidents because his actions failed to bring true unity and justice after the Civil War.